Hello, I am here today with Noel Inniss. He's an energy healer and he's a keynote speaker, and I met him at one of my trainings. He's got a really great heart and a desire to see people fulfilled, to see them drop their stuff and just become all that is totally possible. He he's written a book called The Inner Odyssey: Navigating the Path to True Fulfillment. So you can find that at the end of October of 2025, whenever you're listening to this. And so, Noel, thank you so much for being here today.
Well, thank you for having me. It's such a pleasure to get with like-minded beings that are trying to help the planet shift into an awareness where we can, achieve a little more fulfilling life and happiness and health and that sort of thing.
Yes, I agree. And I have an apology. I said Noel, and it's not Noel, it's Noel. So I'm so sorry for that.
That's okay. Some people call me Noel. Some people call me Noel. I was born the 23rd of December, so I'm sort of a Christmas baby.
You are a Christmas baby. I love that.
Oh
All
my
right.
goodness.
So the way we do things over here is I just sort of hop in. The less you tell me, the better it is, because then you're like, "Oh, she's super accurate." Or then if you tell me a lot, then you'll be like, "No, she knew that from before."
Uh, what do I want to tell you about
No, 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 don't
myself?
tell me anything. Nope, don't tell me anything. The question, I have a question. The question is, do you have a question? Is there something you really want to know right now?
They really want to know right now.
Yeah, there's some answer, some burning answer that you would love from the universe that only the universe can provide.
I think, well, ever since I was born, from time I was 4 years of age, I've been encountering a certain energy that's opposite of mine. And after seeing a couple of psychics, especially in the last few years, that's been educating me about the kind of person I am, learning what it is to be empathic,
Mm-hmm.
learning what it is to feel so deeply, and knowing that there are energies out there that are seeking impact out. And without knowing it, and because I believe that, the true essence of love is who I am, and love is all there is, and all we do is love, and it's not something we look for or get, it's actually who I am, that
Okay.
makes me susceptible to these energies. you know?
Well,
So,
so I had a trainer once who basically said to me, like, either you're open to them or you're not. And if you just put your boundary up and you're like, no, I'm not letting you in, they don't get in because you have more power here on earth than they do. And so
you're,
if there is something that's been stuck or like following or like not okay, right? Then you get to look at it and say, you don't belong here and I want nothing to do with you. And put your boundary up and say, no, this is my space. Like when I tap into energy, I'm not tapping into, so we're on this plane. Let's imagine we're on this plane. And then there's the next plane up is the ghost plane, right? Whereas like it's sort of on our realm still, like it's the ghost plane. And you know when you bump into a ghost because it feels creepy. The back of your hair on the back of your neck stands up. You kind of get this weird thing in the back of your throat. You kind of feel nauseated. Like you know when you bump into something that's not okay, right? Those spirits have no game with me and I have nothing to do with them. I when I bump into one of them, I basically tell them you get the fuck away from me
hmm?
or you go to the light or I banish you. These are your options. But we don't mess around and if it starts to fight with me, I just call in Archangel Michael and I pull my sword of the spirit out and I'm like, Archangel Michael, like you take care of this, and then they just run because they want nothing to do with that spirit.
And you're absolutely correct. I'm at a space now where, let's see, my divorce was about 3 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the last of that type of energy, the boundaries that you're talking about around my heart. And it's funny because what kept me in it through my three last relationships was, that as my sons are being very hard on me, said, Dad, how could you do this? I said, give me a break. I thought I could heal it up. You know, this healer in me that wants to fix things and understanding why I pick up wounded people to heal. And
Well, Let me talk to you a little bit about that because I picked up on this when we had dinner together that night. Um, that steak dinner we had together with the whole crowd of us that was there. And what I picked up was that you when you heal somebody, you heal them and you do, but the problem is you bring whatever it is that was a part of them into you.
Mm,
So instead of transmuting it and making it leave them and it leave the plane altogether, you pick up whatever it is that you have brushed off of them. So you have morphed it from their body to your body.
that's not a very good way of projecting the next one.
So I don't know if you think I'm right or if you think I'm wrong, right? Like, I don't know if
Well,
you agree with me on that, but I
I
feel like you get weighed down by what you have done. And I feel like you don't know how to process somebody else's trauma story.
okay. I understand the theory. I understand I am not this body. I'm not a concept. I understand I'm soul that lies unaffected by all of life's experiences that come into the body and leave it.
No,
However,
you are not unaffected. You are affected. We are all affected. We can
I,
move it and change energy, but we are affected by people around us.
what I was about to say was the body still have to process life experiences,
Yes, it does.
and that suffering and the physical manifestation appears.
Yes.
So as I have recuperated from the torn anterior cruciate ligament, the torn hamstring, when I came to America and went through those changes in life, it took years to heal up. Although I had the successful surgery, and then lately with this last one, another major defining moment and change in my life, and I realized the sensation going down the hamstrings is coming from the back, and I haven't had that. I've been so healthy for so long, so
Right.
processing again. And what you're saying probably is right on as far as what is it that I'm processing. It's that stuff
It's
that
that
we're talking.
stuff. And so, what I would recommend for you, right, my recommendation is to find a way that when you're healing somebody, that you imagine that what you're pulling out of them, there's a barrier between you and the person, so that there isn't an opening between what you're pulling out and you. That you imagine it. You imagine this barrier, but because it's all spirit, your body and your brain doesn't know the difference because memory is stored in the same place as imagination.
Absolutely.
So when you're healing somebody, I want you to. One of the women I worked with, she called it a castle, but a castle never worked for me. I need a lighthouse, right? Because it's smaller. A castle gets too big and I can't keep my back door closed. Wherever my back door is always open and I need constant masonries coming in and closing up the hole. So I stopped and I made it much smaller and I made it a lighthouse and I'm able to keep the back closed in my imagination of a lighthouse. And I like a lighthouse because it means that I'm still shining my light even though I'm protected.
Right. I
So
like.
if you put yourself in your lighthouse, right? You're shining your light out, you're giving your healing, you're giving your empathy, you're giving your goodness, but you're blocked in and protected. So whatever it is that you're healing can't get into you. And then the other thing you can do is you can imagine a fire. Maybe imagine a purple flame or imagine a something, right? Imagine a purple flame, imagine a fireplace and a fire, like whatever kind of fire lights you up, haha, right? And then if you imagine whatever you're pulling out of them going into that fire and then being morphed like and burnt up. Now I'm gonna let you in on like the $10 Kim Beam secret when she's done working with somebody and you have the fire and you've had them burn everything, and sometimes I've worked with people who have me do the burning,
Right.
right? So if you have them imagine the burning, right? When you're done, when I'm done with the fire with somebody, I ask them to go sift through the cool ashes, like make sure it's cooled down, help them know that it's cooled down, it's still not a hot fire, right? Sift through the cool ashes, and I have them find the airplane black box.
Mm,
And then I have them open the black box to the gift of whatever was released because they let go of whatever it is that's been released,
right.
right? So they open the box to find whatever is left, and sometimes, sometimes it's a new heart, sometimes it's a I don't know, a phoenix from an ashes, whatever it is, right? That they take comfort from because they found it inside the black box at the end of the burning. And so that's just something I had. I hand that to you as a gift, and you get to decide what you want to do with that. Um, but when you are working with somebody, I just really encourage you to boundary up so that you don't take what somebody else is releasing as your own, because it's not yours. It's not yours, and you don't need to carry it.
This is true. Boundaries is something that I've been focused and meditating on lately. Um, Although I'm free now to embody this love that I always felt inside of me, is who I am. But I'm understanding boundaries, and I understand that without them, there is a projection out into the world. Any resolved stuff from childhood will be manifesting these type of energies that I don't want.
Right.
Go of the magnet inside, which is my own stuff that needs to go.
Well, yeah, I mean, we all have stuff, but I mean, I do this work and I'm not magneting, right? I'm not magneting things I don't want, because I basically have said there's no space here for that. My
I
house
like
is clean, my house is locked down. I energy blocked everything. And then when I go someplace and I don't like the energy, so a week ago I was in Texas and I was asked to speak at this event, and I didn't like the energy there. So I walked in ahead of time and I took over the space and I changed the energy. I did what
yes,
I do, which is my practice, to change the energy of a space. And then after I did that, I was comfortable enough to give the talk.
yes. And I am really soaking in hearing the firmness and strength of the boundaries that you have.
Yeah. Like I don't like a lot of people on our trip were affected by other people's energy a lot. I was only affected by other people's energy one day, and then I was like, that's not happening again. And I was like, we're just going to do our own thing, and I locked myself down.
Right.
But it means a little bit more energy on my end because I have to maintain my boundary. But I would rather have energy expelled because I'm maintaining a boundary than to have to deal with everybody else's energy draining me all the time.
Yes, got that. And makes absolute sense. Well, you have some yeah, you're very imparting on me what I've been focusing on, which is
Mm,
having boundaries, and because I've suffered the effect of not having them, and the type of attraction that I've been doing, it's I'm realizing now, yeah, love is all there is. It is who I am, but without boundaries, mm, yeah,
yeah, and it makes me think of something Melanie says all the time about the freeple and the cheaple, right? How people are always out for free things and people are always out for cheap things, but then there's consumers. And if you're out there giving your love freely, right, you're going to attract the people who are freeple, who are only going to like suck you dry and not give back. Like there is a law of even exchange that as an energy worker, we need to be paying attention to, right? Like you don't give yourself for free.
that is my lesson. Melanie keeps hammering at me. Thanks.
Yes.
Know your worth.
Well, not just know your worth, but then look at other people and say, "This is my worth." It's one
Right.
thing to know what you're worth on the inside, but it's another thing to be able to express it on the outside.
Absolutely correct. And that's why hearing you speak, the firmness of your voice, the strength of your boundaries, I'm soaking it in. I'm soaking it in. I've been very, very, soft. I'm strengthening my female side. I have to let go a little bit so my male side can step forward and balance out all that.
Yes. And that I also want to change the language on a little bit and just call it your yin and your yang, right? The yin is where it's sweet and it's like allowing and permissive and kind and giving, and your yang is your work and your value and your strength and your stepping forward and your right. But the two need to be in balance. If a yin
Balance.
and a yang, if the white and the black are not the same size or the shape, the circle doesn't work and it's not in balance.
Correct. Absolutely. That's what I'm focusing on right now. Just balancing the yin and the yang so we can have completion.
Exactly. Exactly. All righty. Thank you so much for being here today, Noel. I really appreciate it.
I really appreciate you and the work that you're doing. It's you're a light that's lighting up, helping to light up the universe and help shift us to this new dimension that we're called to, you know, move to.